Imagine standing on the precipice of existence, a singular point of awareness suspended in a silent, suffocating void. Before the first dawn broke, before the stars were forged in the furnace of the infinite, there was only the ache of unmanifested potential. If you were to peer into that primordial silence, what would you see? You would see the exact reflection of a mind drowning in the noise of 1,000 unfinished projects, a heart paralyzed by the overwhelming weight of infinite possibility. This is not merely a myth of the ancients. It is the raw, pulsing reality of every morning you wake up to a world that feels like total, unformed chaos. We call this state tohu wa bohu, the formless and the void. It is the architectural blueprint of the beginning, but more importantly, it is the blueprint of your own psychological architecture. In the ancient accounts, the canvas of reality is not painted with a single stroke. It is carved. The Creator does not merely gaze upon the darkness. The Creator distinguishes within it. When we read that the light was separated from the darkness, we are not witnessing a scientific observation of celestial mechanics. We are witnessing the first, most fundamental act of consciousness. To exist is to differentiate. To survive is to categorize. Think about the last time you felt truly overwhelmed. The projects piling up on your desk, the competing demands of your career, the static hum of digital information clawing at your attention. You are living in a state of tohu. Everything is colliding. Everything is urgent. And because everything is everything, nothing has a name. You are drowning in the potential of your own life. The ancient wisdom offers a radical solution. The power of the boundary. The light is not better than the darkness. The light is simply the light, and the darkness is the darkness. By drawing a line between the two, the architect of the universe gave reality its first shape. Without this demarcation, you are merely a ghost haunting your own ambitions. Many of us operate under the delusion that success requires an expansion of our efforts, more hours, more tasks, more connections. We believe that by touching every part of our world, we will eventually master it. But the blueprint of Genesis teaches the inverse. It suggests that true mastery begins with a contraction. You must carve out a space for the light. You must draw a firm, immovable border around your priorities, your values, and your vision. When you refuse to separate the light of your purpose from the darkness of the mundane distractions, you remain in the void. You become a participant in the chaos rather than the architect of your own history. Consider the rhythm of the 7 days. We often view the narrative of creation as a feat of raw power, a display of infinite capacity. Yet, the story culminates not in further expansion, but in a deliberate, measured cessation. On the 7th day, the architect stops. This is not an act of fatigue, it is an act of completion. By stepping back, the architect creates the distance necessary to look upon the work and see that it is good. In your life, how often do you reach the 7th day? How often do you cease your labor long enough to actually perceive the structure you have built? We are a society obsessed with the let there be, the constant ignition of new fires, but we have forgotten the profound necessity of the let it be. To build your reality, you must embrace the art of the boundary. You must cultivate the wisdom to look at the swirling clouds of your daily life and decide, with absolute authority, what belongs to the light and what must remain in the shadow. This is the heavy lifting of the human soul. It is far easier to remain in the void, where everything is possible because nothing has been defined, than to step into the light of a defined, chosen existence. But there is a risk in defining your world. Once you draw a line, you are no longer everywhere. You are somewhere. To choose one path is to abandon 1,000 others. This is why we fear the separation. It is an act of sacrifice. To be a singular, purposeful being, you must sacrifice the infinite, chaotic freedom of being everything at once. You must surrender the comfort of the could be to grasp the reality of the is. Look closely at the architecture of your own days. Where is the line? Where have you allowed the darkness of noise to bleed into the light of your intent? The tragedy of the unlived life is rarely a lack of talent or resources. It is almost always a lack of structure. It is the failure to realize that you are not a victim of the chaos, but the one who must speak the word of order into the stillness. You are the second architect. The canvas of your future is sitting before you, a vast, swirling expanse of formless potential. It is terrifying, It is beautiful. It is waiting for you to make the first distinction. You do not need more light. You need to know where the light ends. You do not need more time. You need to define the boundaries of your purpose. As we move forward into the development of your own identity, carry this truth with you. Order is not the absence of energy. It is the containment of it. You are the separator of your own reality. You are the one who decides what is meaningful, and in that decision, you move from the void into the world of form. The foundation is laid. The boundaries are drawn. You are ready to step out of the silence and into the act of being. The dust settles, but the silence remains, a different kind of silence this time. It is not the breathless, pre-creation void of the first chapter, but a heavy, expectant quiet, like the air just before a storm breaks. We have transitioned from the cosmic mechanics of separation to something far more intimate and fragile. We have moved from the architect's grand design to the breath of the inhabitant. In the ancient lexicon, the transition is subtle but profound. We move from Adama, the raw, unrefined earth, to Adam, the vessel of conscious purpose. You are made of the earth. The ancient texts do not shy away from this humble lineage. They ground our existence in the most tangible, common clay. You share a fundamental substance with the soil beneath your feet, the mountains that scrape the sky, and the rivers that carve their paths through stone. There is a deep, biological dignity in this. You are not a ghost in a machine. You are an extension of the physical world, woven from the same elemental threads as the universe itself. But there is a second layer to this composition, a mystery that elevates the clay. The text describes a breath of life whispered into the vessel, a spark that transforms inert matter into a mirror of the infinite. This duality is the defining tension of your existence. You are finite, bound by the clock, by the needs of your body, and by the laws of physics. Yet, you are possessed of a mind that can conceptualize the eternal and a spirit that rebels against the limitations of the soil. This is the human condition, the bridge between the dust and the divine. To ignore the dust is to drift into a hollow, ungrounded idealism. To ignore the breath is to live as a mere biological machine, driven only by instinct and impulse. You must inhabit both. Consider the first task assigned to this newly awakened consciousness. The act of naming. The creatures of the field, the birds of the air, the wild things of the untamed expanse are brought before the human. This is not a task of scientific classification. It is an act of sovereignty. In the ancient world, to name something was to understand its nature, to define its essence, and to hold it in a relationship of responsibility. When you name your experiences, your fears, or your ambitions, you are doing the same. You are reaching out from the center of your conscious self and throwing a lasso of meaning around the chaotic world that surrounds you. Without this naming, you are a passenger in your own life, buffeted by events, feelings, and societal expectations. You are a victim of the what is rather than the master of the what could be. To name your work, to name your failures as lessons, to name your grief as the shadow of your love. This is the exercise of your authority. It is how you turn a generic, formless environment into a home of purpose. You cannot tend to what you have not named. You cannot protect a garden if you refuse to identify the flowers from the weeds. We often imagine the garden as a place of effortless bliss, a paradise of leisure. But the text whispers a more complex truth. The garden required tilling and keeping. It was a sanctuary, yes, but it was a sanctuary that relied upon human participation. It was a space that required attention, labor, and stewardship. Many of us suffer from the delusion that there is a perfect life waiting for us, a place where everything is already solved and where no effort is required. We search for this Eden in our relationships, our careers, and our possessions, hoping for a state of existence where we can finally stop working and simply be. But the blueprint suggests that the garden is not a destination, it is a vocation. It is a space where your labor becomes your worship and your responsibility becomes your identity. When you stop tilling your own life, when you stop refining your thoughts, pruning your distractions, and cultivating your skills, your garden grows wild. It becomes a thicket of neglect. You are not meant to consume the world, you are meant to curate it. Think of your life as a sanctuary. What have you been assigned to tend? Is it a family? A creative pursuit? The development of your own character? These are not mere tasks to be completed. They are the soil from which your specific, unique soul grows. If you neglect the tilling, you forfeit the harvest. The tragedy of the modern age is not that we have lost the garden, but that we have forgotten how to act as its gardeners. We wander through our days as tourists, distracted by the spectacle, forgetting that we were placed here with a duty to maintain the order we have established. The naming of the animals was the first step towards self-awareness. By differentiating the creatures from yourself, you realized your own distinct place in the hierarchy of being. You are the only creature capable of standing in the center of the world and declaring, "This is who I am in relation to this." This is the power of the breath. It is the ability to rise above the mere survival of the dust and to participate in the ongoing creation of meaning. As you look at your own life today, ask yourself, what am I naming? Am I allowing my circumstances to name me? Calling myself a failure because of a setback or a victim because of a challenge? Or am I exercising the authority of my breath? You have the power to name your narrative. You have the power to define the terms of your engagement with the world. The dust is the reality, but the breath is the meaning. You are the architect of your own identity, and you have been given the most sacred of tasks: to take the raw, common elements of your experience and breathe into them the life of a deliberate, intentional human soul. The garden is waiting. The soil is rich with potential, and the breath within you is steady and strong. Do not fear the labor. The tilling is the evidence of your humanity. Your work is the witness to your worth. Step into the center of your own existence, look upon the world you have been given, and start the work of naming. Everything depends on it. The final act of our journey does not occur in a remote, forgotten garden in the east. It unfolds in the quiet, singular decision you make when the lights go down and the noise of the world recedes. We have traversed the expanse from the primordial void of Chapter 1, through the awakening of consciousness and the weight of identity in Chapter 2, to the ultimate, inevitable threshold of choice in Chapter 3. If the first 3 chapters of the ancient blueprint have taught us anything, it is that the story of creation is not a historical relic. It is a live, breathing process that repeats every time you stand at the edge of your own transformation. You are the second architect. Throughout this series, we have deconstructed the narrative not to dismantle its mystery, but to reveal the profound, structural reality beneath it. We saw how the architect of the universe separated light from darkness, and we realized that your life demands the same unwavering boundaries. We saw the clay of the earth receive the breath of life, and we understood that your identity is a sacred synthesis of finite limitations and infinite potential. We looked upon the moment of the great transition, the departure from the garden, and we discovered that this was never an ending, but a necessary evolution. When the eyes were opened, the world changed. The unity of the garden was replaced by the complexity of the world, and for the first time, the burden of accountability landed squarely on the shoulders of the human. This is the moment you live in every single day. The fall is not a tragedy to be mourned. It is the genesis of your autonomy. To leave the garden is to step out of the unconscious protection of childhood and into the hard, illuminated reality of an adult existence. It is the moment you realize that you are no longer a passenger in the unfolding of your destiny. You are the one who determines the outcome. The clothes of skin we are told were fashioned in the wake of that transition represent more than just a covering. They represent the fragility we all carry. We live in a world of thorns and thistles, the inevitable resistance that comes with any meaningful pursuit. But notice that the blueprint does not suggest we should retreat. It does not suggest we should crawl back to the gates of the sanctuary. The path is forward. The wisdom is found in the tilling of the difficult soil, in the cultivation of the wild, and in the endurance of the journey through the wilderness. Look at your own life through this lens. The challenges you face, the setbacks that seem to bar your way, the moments of profound uncertainty, these are not signs that you have been abandoned. They are the friction required to forge your character. You are in the process of becoming. The ancient design is not meant to be read. It is meant to be lived. Every time you draw a boundary to protect your focus, you are echoing the first day of creation. Every time you name your purpose and commit to the labor of your field, you are breathing life into the dust. And every time you choose to take responsibility for your future, despite the risks and the thorns, You are transcending the garden to walk as a sovereign architect of your own history. We often long for a return to a simpler state of being, a life without the weight of consequence or the sharpness of choice. But remember, the garden was a place of unawakened potential. It was safe, yes, but it was incomplete. You were built for more than just comfort. You were built for development. The architecture of your life requires the freedom to choose, and the gravity of that choice is what gives your existence its weight and its beauty. You are not a static object. You are a moving force in the universe. Your history is being written in the ink of your actions, and every decision you make serves as a brushstroke on the canvas of your legacy. As we conclude this exploration of the first chapters of human wisdom, take a moment to look around you. The chaos is still there, swirling just outside the boundaries you have drawn. The work is still waiting in the fields, demanding the sweat of your brow and the steady application of your will. The choices are still pending, hovering in the air like the promise of a new dawn. Do not be intimidated by the scale of the design. You do not need to build the whole world today. You only need to build your own. You have the blueprint. You understand the necessity of the separation, the sanctity of the breath, and the evolution of the choice. You are no longer just a listener. You are a participant. The question is no longer where you are in the story, but what you are going to do with the chapter that lies ahead. The silence that follows this journey is not empty. It is a space for you to take that first, deliberate step into your own sovereignty. The world is waiting for your specific imprint. It is waiting for the order you will bring to the chaos, the gardens you will cultivate, and the legacy you will forge in the shadow of your own mortality. Carry this wisdom with you. Let it be the quiet anchor in your storms and the steady hand that guides your brush. You are the architect. You are the gardener. You are the voice that names the future. The design is yours, the work is yours, and the outcome is yours. Go forth and continue the creation. The dawn is yours to define.